What's up, everybody? Welcome to From the Forum. Tonight we are live. You are catching the continuation of our rookie mock draft. We went through rounds 1 and rounds 2, and now we're hitting rounds 3 and 4. These are the rounds where you can find the sleepers, the deep grabs, the players that nobody else are thinking about that could potentially win you your leagues. I've got Disco. I've got DBro from Fantasy Pros. I've got Joe the Man Frick on the stream tonight. So hang in there, check it out. We will be going through rounds 3 and 4 and pay attention to the takes. This is where you can win your leagues. You don't win your leagues in round 1 and 2. You get the people that everybody knows. You win in 3 and 4 when you get the sleepers that nobody else is looking at. So pay attention and enjoy the ride.
All right. Well, I guess I'm still going to avoid the whole Cam Scattabo thing. So I'm actually going to jump down a couple running backs. I'm surprised that he went as late in the draft as he did. I'm not going to repeat my spiel about how New Orleans, I'm expecting them to run a lot of plays, but I'm really interested in Devin Neal, especially in the third round. So for me, he's somebody that's like very shifty and has a lot of agility as a runner. He has great vision, and I think that he's a natural pass catcher. Obviously, Kamara is still going to be the alpha of that offense, but I do think that he can carve out a role. I don't really see a lot of potential in the other running backs in New Orleans, so I'll take a swing at him.
I love Devin Neal pre-draft. I love his skill set, man. The only thing that kind of lowered me on him was just Kamara's got good money on that contract for the next 2 years. The backfield's kind of messy, but to your point, cream rises to the top, man. Devin Neal's got the talent.
So I'm going to do this pick because he's there and not because I like him, but because my brother's a Giants fan and he would absolutely hate me if I didn't take this pick. So I'm going to take Skataboo on the shot that somehow he makes his way into a significant role. And really it's just, this one's for my brother, Josh. I appreciate you. I know you were so excited when Skataboo got drafted to the Giants. So there you go. One for the homies.
Tyler, I thought you were going to I thought this was just a really long soliloquy for Thomas Fedone, but maybe I was kind of surprised in Scattabo, but it's all good.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh gosh. I don't love it. But I will say this about Scattabo.
I like it. I think Scattabo is going to be the workhorse in that backfield in short order, man. Like Tyrone Tracy, it's the pass pro and it's the fumbles. I think Scattabo's got a clear. When they draft, you don't draft a volume back like that without there's a pretty good chance we're going to lean on this dude. But that's just my take on him.
So So go ahead.
Here's my thing with Skataboo. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, what do you think his ceiling is? Because the comp that I've heard a lot is like David Montgomery. I think that's like too high, in my opinion. I think that if he carves out a David Montgomery career, that would be awesome. To me, like best case scenario for him is like Dameon Pierce. He has that good rookie season, and then they immediately replace him.
I think what you're looking at is the real answer to that question is what happens with the coaching staff. If they keep Dayball and he crushes in his rookie season, then that's what gives him the path to remain their workhorse guy. If they fire the coach and they fire the GM, then we're talking about a day 3 running back. And if he was in a committee for part of that year, or he was only the starter for the back end of the year, you're looking at this could be the next Michael Carter, Tyler Algier, pick your flavor of day 3 running back that eventually gets Tyrone Tracy. This could be your new flavor of he just gets replaced. So to me, the answer to that question is not just what Cam Skataboo does in his rookie season. To me, the better way to answer that is, do you think that Brian Daboll keeps his job?
And that is a big question because you got a lot riding, including a rookie quarterback on that question. But Cam Skataboo, weirdly enough, kind of the comparison that it's like that. It's like a weird mixture. He's a gamer, right? And you gotta really, sometimes talent, or 40 speed or things or those things are are compensated by somebody that plays the game. And so for me, Skataboo is this weird mixture of Peyton Hillis meets Danny Woodhead. I know that's a really weird example, but he runs like he has power but he's a decent receiver. I don't
Did you
know.
just use like the only two relevant white running backs for that comparison?
No, I didn't.
I mean,
did
Mike
not.
Allstott would be in the conversation.
No, he is not a Mike Allstott. Mike Allstott is a truck.
Yes.
Peyton Hillis was a truck later in his career, not so much early. But
Scataboo is kind of like a souped-up minivan.
that's a good take. I like that.
I love minivans too.
I don't know.
All right, Disco, you're up. I digress.
I was kind of considering Cam Skataboo during the entire process, just simply because of what he put on tape this last year. And then I heard something from Pat Fitzmaurice on the Fantasy Pros and DBro on the Fantasy Pros. They said he was quirky and not the best teammate and may lack some work ethic. Translation, that's the only reason why I'm avoiding him. And that's the only reason why I'm buying where people are dipping on Tyrone Tracy. But let's keep that between us, okay? Here, guys, it's another scenario where I'm just going to go and get my guy. I'm going to go get my guy. If we're talking about, somebody who has pretty much every record out of all the wide receivers who have ever gone to the University of Miami, and if you look at the lineage and the legacy at the University of Miami, I think it translates. And I know he went undrafted, and I know beat reporters exactly. Xavier Restrepo, don't even have to talk about it. Every record. You look at Michael Irvin. You look at Johnson. You look at all of them. Santana Moss. All those wide receivers. He's the best out of all of them. So it's a no-brainer. I think he's going to be spectacular year one, and he's got his college quarterback. So, yeah.
I like the pick, and the college quarterback's the key to me. Go, Joe, or DBro.
I'm just gonna stay. This is a combination. There's a lot of ways I could go right here. There's a long tier of guys that I like here. I'm gonna get one of my guys. I know it looks like it's crowded right now, but talent rises at the top. Christian Kirk can't stay healthy. Jalen Neal, come on down, man. Like, he was a top 5 wide receiver for me in this class throughout the entire this process. I am over the moon with his talent, and I was surprised he dipped to the 3rd round. But I mean, guys, like, we've seen the NFL screw up draft capital for guys that they deem, whether it's slot only, things like that, year after year after year. Noah's got the speed, the route running ability. He can play outside. He could beat man press. When I was down there in Senior Bowl, nobody could guard this dude. He got open every single rep. And to go crush the combine, I really... If Kirk can't stay healthy this year, you're looking at 2025 Jalen Neal is 2023 Tank Dell.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go to the Pats in the round 2. I was surprised that
the Pats are going to really regret the fact that they draft. This is Ladd McConkey and Jalen Polk all over again. The Pats are going to regret the fact that they drafted Kyle Williams over Jalen Neal.
Yeah, and I like Kyle Williams too.
I'm not a huge fan. I get it, but I'm not.
All right. So in the spirit of tight end premium, I'm going to take this high upside pick with Elijah Arroyo. Biggest issue with him is his ability to stay healthy, but Noah Fant, he was the 1st round pick a few years back. He hasn't really done anything. 1 year left on the deal. Seattle has like a new regime of pass catching out there. So I think for me, 3rd round, I think it's a great fit for him to kind of throw that dart. I know there's a lot of other people in that tier of tight ends, but I think that he has the most upside as a pass catcher.
That's who I was deciding between, Joe, just to put it out there. Like, it was Null or Royo for me. So it was a good pick. Very good pick.
So I like that this landed on round 6, where I took Judkins earlier. I'm going to take Dillon Sampson right here. And I'm gonna handcuff for the next 4 years the Browns running game. So I feel pretty
good. Full Browns. Are you taking Shadur Sanders next round too?
He doesn't have to.
Gabriel?
I'll pass on that one.
Kind of feels weird that you didn't get the full.
No, this is different. It's running backs. It's running backs.
I mean, but you could have cornered the market on Cleveland Browns, bro. Like, you could have gone Judkins.
Bro, who wants to corner the market on Cleveland Browns?
My wife,
I'm
big Browns fan.
just saying, man.
Cleveland Browns are the worst. I watched Draft Day back when it first came out, and I didn't have a favorite NFL team, and I was like, you know what? I can be a Browns fan. I can do this. And then they go and they draft Baker. Baker takes them to the playoffs. I'm like, yeah, I can be a Browns fan. And then they dish Baker to bring in the, Deshaun Watson on unsurmounted guaranteed money. And I was like, this is why people cannot be Browns fans. Hence the end of my Browns fandom. And with Nick Chubb leaving, the last piece of the Browns puzzle that I really enjoyed is now gone. I'm out.
Oh, you sound like a normal Browns fan now. Like even Browns fans don't want to be Browns fans.
Exactly.
I was expecting the brown paper bag to come out at any given moment.
No, excuse you, sir. That's for the Aints. That's only for my former fan base. Okay.
My bad.
I feel like the Pirates should also be allowed to wear brown paper bags because they are the baseball Browns.
Fair.
I don't know baseball.
Joe, this is not a baseball show.
Oh, right. My bad.
Keep it moving.
It doesn't happen a lot.
All right. So I'm really invested. I don't know if you guys follow my tweets. And if you don't, it might be a good thing for your sanity because I'll drive you nuts. I'm very invested in the Patrick Mahomes revenge tour. And I'm not going with Royals here. So do not preemptively pick that guy. I'm once again going.
You are the search bar guy.
You are not going to take my dude.
You're picking is not on the screen.
I'm going to get my guys, and I'm going to continue to get my guys. There's a clear path that Brashard Smith can and will be the running back one.
Stop, Disco! Stop!
That's doing a show together on Wednesday. You screwed up.
Now you're chopping ankles. Okay, you're chopping ankles here. We know. I agree. I love the pick. I was hoping he would make it at least one more slew through the group.
Dude, that was my 404 pick. Oh.
That is fantasy football. If you don't take your guys,
get your guy.
Yeah, they're gone. Hence DBro.
Man. All right. Well, see what happened was okay. So this is a long tier. I think that where we're at and I think all of these guys are going too late, to be honest. I think Royo goes too late in drafts. He got a little more respect here, but I think Royo should be going in the back end of the second round. I also think that there are two other tight ends that are on the board. It's the exact same setup as Elijah Royo has, where there is an incumbent starter that is on the last year of their contract, and they are gone after this year. They tested good enough. They got good landing spots. I'm going to take Terrence Ferguson here. Dude, I just think if you're in any kind of tight end premium formats, he needs to be somebody. The trifecta of tight ends that are going in the third round right now, Arroyo, Ferguson, and one other guy, are the reason why you do not have to pay up for Loveland and Warren in rookie drafts right now, who have clouded outlooks for year one. They're going to probably be at the top of every 2026 buy low article that is written in Dynasty next year. And so for me, we should take the discount on really talented tight ends, and Arroyo and Ferguson are starting that tier. So yeah, it's wheels up, man. Like Higbee's gone after this year.
Tyler Higbee's like the least impressive tight end ever. Like somehow people convince themselves every year that he's gonna be a top 10.
I remember. Do you remember way back whenever people were like, he had that 5-game stretch, and then we went into the next year, and everybody's like, Tyler Higbee, he's the new Travis Kelce. And I remember fighting that the entire time, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that.
I really just hope that Dan clips this specific part just for the voice acting that I just witnessed.
We are definitely going to be clipping these parts. By the way, if you're still tuned in, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the sub. Appreciate you. We are in the tail end of the third round with 1 round to go. This is where you get the meat. This is where you get the players that everybody else is sleeping on, the late round grabs where you can really win. We've seen it year after year after year. Somebody come out of this round 3 through 4. And so already some guys have been highlighted that are going to fall in your draft that you can grab. And so hopefully you're paying on. I love the Brashard Smith pick, man. That's sweet.
He's going to be Jarrett McKinnon in that offense sooner 100%. Rather than later.
100%.
Like he's going to have Kareem Hunt is the direct backup to Isaiah Pacheco this year. I think we could see out the gate Pacheco and Brashard Smith leading the way. I love that pick so much.
I'm still not ruling out like Elijah Mitchell if he can put it together and finally be healthy, he might do something. But that's a best ball conversation, not a rookie conversation. It's going to be one or the other.
You just look at that backfield. Who is the guy that's different as far as skill set from every other player that they have? And it's Brashard Smith.
I would say it's Elijah Mitchell. He's got that game-breaking speed. World class speed.
Very similar to Isaiah Pacheco in that. But I'll say that though.
Stylistically, yes, but speed-wise, no, not even close.
All right, so I'm going to jump into my pick real quick. So this was a former no-star recruit. Pretty much had nobody looking at him when he was going into college. Becomes the third most prolific rusher in Kansas State history. I really like just his all-around game. DJ Giddens for me. Not looking at an immediate role sitting behind Jonathan Taylor, but I don't really care for any of the backup options that are there. Jonathan Taylor historically has been a pretty healthy running back. We're starting to see maybe a little bit of signs of him breaking down a little bit. So I'll take the risk there. I think he can be good in a pass catching situation. So in a PPR format, I think he's worth the risk.
I love Giddens, man. I hated the fact that he fell so far in the draft.
I was surprised that he did, honestly. I thought he would have won a little higher.
Dude, I think it came down to just the depth of this running back class, and teams were playing chicken. If you'd have taken like Devin Neal, DJ Giddens, probably Brashard Smith, all of these guys, if you'd have thrown them into last year's class, we're talking about round 3, round 4 picks.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
All right, here. This is difficult for me because I really want to grab Jalen Royals here, but since it is super flex, I'm going to take a stab here, and I'm going to go
the Cleveland Brown?
No.
You could double up on Cleveland Browns, actually.
I'm going to give you a special exception. You can get both the quarterbacks.
I'm going to take Will Howard.
Really? Okay.
I am. I'm going to take Will Howard. There's some things. Will Howard, to me, like, he got a really bad rap because of his combine performance. And the fact he played on Ohio State. He had elite receivers. He didn't have to do it. What we know about Will Howard is Will Howard's sharp. Like, he is between the ears, process and read. Like, Will Howard can do it. Will Howard falls into that Steelers prototypical quarterback, that Terry Bradshaw, Ben Roethlisberger, 6'4", 235. And I just think that people are yes, that team was a beast, but still, national championship quarterback. Anthony Richardson didn't win a national championship. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to just pin on that, but what I'm saying is, in a super flex league, round 3 or 4, for a quarterback that I feel like if Aaron Rodgers gets finicky and decides he doesn't sign, could have a shot at starting. I hope he doesn't start year 1 because their team is straight garbage, but they could see enough from him for him to get a shot at year 2. If they don't, of course, that's pending they don't draft anybody, which I don't think. I don't know. It's one of those my guys things. I've got a lot of optimism for Will Howard. I think he's being slept on. I think the offense leans itself towards possibility for him, and I think he wants to work. I mean, I saw a tweet that came out, and it was like, Will Howard immediately was calling the quarterback coach to get the playbook. He's going to work. I think he's got something to prove. And anytime you have somebody like that can, and his completion percentage increased year over year. I mean, from going 72% last year, I just think there's a lot of possibility there. And so in a super flex, I'm going to quote, risk it for the biscuit.
Well, you don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers taking his spot anytime soon because he's going to be taking JJ McCarthy's spot. I apologize.
Get out of here.
It was low hanging fruit.
I set you up. It was like a nice volleyball set.
I just need to spike that. I'm sorry.
Boo this man.
He laid it up. I had to alley-oop it. All right. Once again, going with my guys who I believe are going to have immediate impact because I don't really care about investing in 2-3 years. Immediate impact. If you're a coach who is a Super Bowl winning coach comes out and compares you to somebody who broke fantasy football in the past, I don't know if it's a good comparison or the bad side of him, But if you get Michael Thomas comparisons, give me Pat Bryant from the Denver Broncos.
Slant
I
God.
like it.
Who did you say?
Pat Bryant from the Denver Broncos, wide receiver.
Yep.
I didn't expect them to go the
Good
same.
pick. Very good pick.
I like
Very
the
well
pick
down
too.
with it. Well, I'm just gonna stay consistent. I really love Bashal Tootin. I'm gonna take the arbitrage Bashal Tootin. The guy that I feel like we collectively, a lot of people are looking at this Rams backfield wrong. I'm gonna take Jarquez Hunter here. You look at stacking these guys up. Tell me, in describing a backfield, you have a veteran that is on his rookie, that is on the last year of his contract, so he's probably gone. You have a former third-round pick that did nothing, and honestly, I thought he was a very overrated prospect with a lot of question marks because of injuries and his tackle-breaking metrics dropping in every single collegiate season. And they go and add to this backfield. This is exactly the same situation that Bashal Tootin is walking into, except he doesn't have all the puff and praise. He still tested decently, ran fast, and he has put up just awesome numbers over the last 3 years at Auburn. I think there is a world that we are living in. We flip over the cards. It's week 5, week 6, where Kyron and Jarquez Hunter are running neck and neck. This is more of a split backfield, and everybody that thinks that, okay, Jarquez Hunter is not going to make noise, Kyron keeps the job. Okay, what'd y'all all say about Rachaad White last year? Inefficient running backs keep the job until there is a dude that is put in that depth chart that is good enough to take work from them. Jarquez Hunter is good enough to do that to Kyron Williams.
Let's go.
All right, so we're on the last round here. I'm going to take a guy that probably you can get a little bit later than this, but I'm going to go with Tory Horton. He was at Colorado State. Pretty big dude, 6'3". He ran like a 4.4 at the combine with a busted up knee. So to me, he's walking into a Seattle Seahawks room where I think that he could be a wide receiver 3 in his first season. Kind of like how I'm feeling about the Royo pick. You have JSN, but what else behind him? So with the change of the guard, I think that injury kind of plummeted his stock a bit. So to me, it's a dart throw that I would be worth taking.
So Tyler's got all the Browns players, and Joe is getting all the Seahawks. So Damian Martinez is your next pick?
No, not for me. Or are you talking about for Joe?
For
Can't
Joe.
spoil it. Maybe.
No.
I did like Martinez a lot. I was astonished.
I did too. I'm just giving you crap.
Oh,
I love it. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to take. And I hate it that they just started lighting it up in the chat. Rusty said Taj better get drafted.
Oh, he was going to get drafted, Rusty, no doubt. Taj is in my queue.
I'm gonna take Taj Brooks right here.
Yeah, if you weren't going to do it, I was going to do it. So
yeah, the Chase Brown got a ton of work last year, and he can't do it on its own. And Taj Brooks is the complement they need. I think he could be a touchdown machine. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for him. At Texas Tech, I like him. And I think that there's a pathway in this new NFL where we get, and I say new, there's been a huge trend shift to these dual running back roles, the Sonic and Knuckles type deal, right? That everybody's pushing that narrative. And I think there's a world really where you get 2 running backs in an offense that can help you be significantly successful. And this offense is set up for that very quickly.
Yeah, I love Taj, man. He's a bowling ball, handle volume. He's underrated in the passing game. There's multiple spots where Texas Tech sent him up the seam, and this dude has over-the-shoulder one-hand catches on his film, man. So another player that, like, if he'd have come out in last year's class, he would have been a round 4 pick. I fully believe that. He's a better player than any of those guys like Braylon Allen. Taj Brooks would lap him, man. So definitely, that's another reason why I'm lower on Chase Brown. I think Taj Brooks can make some noise year 1.
Let's go. All right, Disco.
Okay. So I'm not a big dynasty guy, right? Let's just put it out there. My thing is best ball. I do best ball, and I've been very blessed to have met some really, really, really successful people in the best ball world, predominantly on drafters. I had Updog on my show earlier today, and he's finished second in the main tournament twice now. And he said he can't stop drafting Jalen Royals, and the reason why is one, you don't draft players who are coming off of an injury or injured, Rashee Rice, hello, and you don't draft players who are potentially going to get suspended, Rashee Rice, hello. So he's a double whammy. Xavier Worthy's going to need some help, and Jalen Royals is in a perfect scenario for the Patrick Mahomes revenge tour. And he said Updog said he's very invested in Jalen Royals. I don't know much on him, but I mean, yeah, give me Royals. He seems best available.
I liked Royals as a prospect. Man, if he would have played the entire year and not come down with the injury, I think he would have gone higher in the draft. And the other thing was, like, throughout the entirety of the draft process, he was also dinged up. I got to talk to him at Senior Bowl and the Combine. So even when he tested and even when he was at Senior Bowl, he wasn't fully healthy. It wasn't the foot, but just a soft tissue injury. So I think there's multiple paths to, like, where Jalen Royals should have gone higher in the draft, and coming from a small school and stuff like that didn't help him either. If he'd have gone to like an SEC school, he would have been a day 2 pick.
So he's hurt. Noted.
I mean, not that he's hurt right now, but he had soft tissue stuff throughout the entirety of the process. So,
all right,
who's your player comp for him? Just quickly,
dude. I had the hardest time comping him, man. Like, the closest I got to him was Quincy Enunwa, like, before he got hurt. But Royals' game is so hard to comp because he is a ridiculous rack threat. Like, you put the ball in his hands and he just goes. He's physical. He's a better route runner than people give him credit. Like, I couldn't find a good comp for him, to be honest.
He's a thicker guy. He's got some oomph to him, is what you're saying.
Dude, he was one of the few guys in Mobile that actually knew how to beat man press off the line and wasn't doing all this TikTok route garbage that, like, people love in one-on-ones that, like, when you put it in a real game, you're like, okay, are you going to stay on schedule or are you still dancing at the line? Like, are you going to get into your route? Like, what are we doing here?
Okay. Thank you for letting me pick your brain.
Nice. I love Royals, man. I'm going to go with the last guy of that triumvirate of tight ends. David Njoku is a free agent after this season, so the pathway is clear. The draft capital is there. I was worried that Harold Fannin was going to get Jaheim Bell because of the testing and a team saying, we don't know what to do with this guy. But the Cleveland Browns said, nah, third round capital. Our tight end is out the door after this year. Let's go.
I like it.
Very good. All right, I'll try to keep this quick. My next pick going to be Woody Marks out of USC. I think he was a big part of that offense last year. Good vision, acceleration. He's not like a high-end speed guy, but he gets to his top gear pretty quick. So his ability to make people miss, good size. He's 5'10", 210. I think he can kind of fit in Houston. And Joe Mixon up there in age. Hasn't been able to stay healthy. He had the ankle issues last year. I think he comes in with a clean slate. But, yeah, I think that Woody could have himself a good time. And who doesn't love the name Woody Marks? So let's just do it.
When we get deep,
Tyler's out of Razorbacks to draft and out of Chris.
Is my brain on the players that I would like to take here. And what's crazy is, like, there's players here in the drafts that I've done have been gone by now. Like you got Kyle Williams is still available.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big Kyle Williams person. Alec is still available.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many people there that are still available that are, like, on the fringe of, like, they have potential and capital, but, like, you don't Kyle Williams went a lot earlier in the draft than I thought he was going to go. And they wanted, and so, like, at this point in your draft, you're in the fourth round, you're like, and then the wide receiver room is not, like, just filled with studs, so you're like, is there a possibility there? And so it's like, there's some of those times where you just want to like throw darts. I have drafted 0 Kyle Williams. I've drafted 0 Alec. At this point, and I want you guys' perspective, at this point in halfway through the 4th round in a 12-team rookie draft, are you still not looking to take like one of those guys?
I think it's Shador time for you, buddy.
I think it's either you take the shot on Shador, or I would go Kyle Williams and you bet on the draft capital. I'm not a Kyle Williams guy, and I would take Kyle Williams on the board right now based off of just hedging that maybe I'm wrong, and I would lean on the draft capital. So
that's how I feel. That's sometimes how you have to look at it. Like this late.
I'm not taking Kyle. So like you could take Shador and count on Kyle coming back to you. You get best of both worlds. You get best available with your last 2 picks.
I would take Kyle if it gets to me. I'm just saying, like, just talking the board.
I personally, I'm going to take Kyle here. I will take 0 shares of Shador. It's not a personal thing. I'm just not a believer. I'm out.
I tried the Jedi mind tricks and it didn't work. My bad.
I just texted Dion. He's mad at you.
It's okay. I'll take it.
Dang, he's sliding in another draft. All right, so my next pick is more of like a sorry, dark joke, bad joke. It's more of a handcuff situation, but the archetype he fits the mold of the scheme that he's in, and he is the direct replacement archetype of the player that he would be the handcuff of, and that's Marcus Yarns, right? So you talk about Alvin Kamara as a receiving back. He gets that PPR volume. I think Neal has a role solidified for him, no matter what the scenario is, with a healthy Kamara or without an Alvin Kamara. But if you're talking about the archetype, the passing volume, the receiving volume, just being an all-around running back, Marcus Yarns fits that mold, and it is 100% injury dependent. But Kamara's getting up there in age, and I'm definitely going to take shots on Yarns at this point of the draft.
I hate the fact that he went UDFA. Like this deep running back class hurts so many guys like Marcus Yarns, who I had a 4th round grade on him. So like, just anyway, it's just one of those things where you hate to see talented players fall and you hope the talent to rise to the top. And in Yarns, it could definitely happen. I could take one of a few different guys. Like, you could talk me into Alec. You could talk me into Shador Sanders. I don't take the shots on quarterbacks later in drafts that much, because I'm a big believer that like draft capital buys you opportunities and stuff like that with quarterbacks. So really quarterbacks that go outside of the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft, I kind of fade them. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm going to take a dart throw on a guy that I love pre-draft process. He landed in a spot, didn't get the draft capital I wanted, but landed in a spot where he is 1 injury away from being the lead back in that backfield, possibly. Jacory Croskey-Merritt, come on down. If this guy wouldn't have missed because of eligibility issues, 2024 season, which the NCAA screwed him over, if that wouldn't have been the case, he would have gone much higher in the NFL draft. His tackle breaking metrics, like in 2023, he was top 20 in so many different categories that I care about, and his film backs it up too.
Yeah, he's definitely a really good player. I'm interested to see, like, especially with Robinson, he gets banged up quite a bit. He could slide in there pretty quickly, but it'll be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you go into camp and stuff like that, Eckler and Nichols, like Jeremy McNichols, like all those guys will be above him. But the other part about it, like McNichols and Eckler are going to play pretty much the same role. So you're looking at the direct handcuff to Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be Merritt. And I mean, Chris Rodriguez didn't even play a role last year in that backfield. So, I don't think that he's magically going to, jump out of the woodwork this year.
All right. I'll keep this one short and sweet. I'm going to take the slide on Alec Yomenor for no other reason that Tennessee doesn't have a ton outside of Calvin Ridley. Just see what happens. Dart through. I feel 4th round is very fair. I probably wouldn't go after him in drafts just because I don't have a lot of faith in the Tennessee offense. But at the price point, it just seems like an easy choice to make.
Yep.
I love the late rounds, but I also hate them. Typically here I'm trading out and often grabbing maybe a third next season. My 4th round picks tend to be like, hey, let me trade you for a third next season.
I'll trade him for Fab. I don't think anything after a 2nd round is like worth my like energy. So like I usually just try to get rid of as many.
But see, here's the thing: like a third turns into 2/3 for a second.
I gobble them all up, man. I want all these late darts.
I hate it,
and I don't mind. Like I like taking the late darts, but like there are people that go like they get really excited about deep prospects. And so they're like, yeah, I'll give you an early third for this pick here at the end of the 4th. And next year, like that early third is going to be, one of these guys here in the 3rd round or one of these guys in the 2nd round that falls a little bit, and, here I'm going to honorable mention somebody, but, well, let me ask you this. DBro, Disco, I think this is an important question. I think everybody is wondering, okay? Mm-hmm. There was a wide receiver that had a 1st round grade, okay, that got into a little trouble before the NFL draft and ended up being undrafted free agent. Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you, are you completely out on Isaiah Bond? Like, is there no realm where he comes in and to be
it's the kind of trouble. It's the kind of trouble he got himself.
I'm out. The NFL told us very loudly, they want no part of whatever's going on with him. I want no part of Isaiah Bond. I will not draft him in any league. I don't care.
When you go into the combine and say you're going to break the record, and then you weren't even the fastest guy on your team.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all the other off-field stuff. That's why he didn't.
I agree. I'm not drafting any off-field issues. I'm not an off-field issues guy.
Because it's not just that he didn't get drafted. He didn't even get a UDFA contract from a team. So, like, the NFL is telling, like, he is not going to be in the league.
He's not going to the CFL either. Like, he's not coming up here. So, he's just done.
Like, I wouldn't. To me, anybody that drafts him is burning a pick. That's what I would say.
We can see if he wants to be on the show next week.
No, I agree. I'm out. I just had to ask the question because I've seen him go at the end of the 4th round. Yeah. And, I think that's something that people are wondering is like this guy who was touted, and we've seen people with trouble issues, like still, have their things. Like everybody's still big on like Rashee Rice and like, these different players. And like, you can't not have the conversation, right? Like you can't.
There's a fine line. And I think he crossed that fine line with what he is accused of.
Agreed. And I appreciate the trend or the not really getting in too deep there. For me here, it's super flex. It's the 4th round. I'm going to take a shot. And I'm going to take Dillon Gabriel.
He did go with a Brown. I knew it. He was just taking the time of his life explaining the Cleveland Brown pick. I knew it.
I have a ton of Christian McCaffrey shares, an absolute ton of Christian McCaffrey shares. So if it's me drafting here in the 4th round, I'd probably take Jordan James. But in a super flex, like somebody that goes at that kind of capital over Shedeur or over whoever, and I really feel bad for the guy because, the crowd's cheering Shedeur and he's like, I was drafted ahead of him, but I think Dillon Gabriel, they really liked him. The Browns really liked him. If you look at the phone call, if you watch the phone call on draft night to Dillon Gabriel and you see the coaches and the GM's excitement, and then you fast forward and you watch the phone call they made to Shedeur, there is a very different reaction from the coaches in those rooms as they made those phone calls. So, if you got to take a deep grab, sure, it's the end of the 4th.
Yeah, I get it.
I actually like Dillon Gabriel a lot. I was hoping he would end up somewhere where he's not competing with Shedeur Sanders, who got drafted in the 5th round. That wasn't on my bingo card, but it is what it is. I still like him a lot, so I like your pick there. All right, I'm sticking to the whole concept of drafting archetypes and historical data information. And I don't think a lot of people are familiar with this name. They shouldn't be. But historically, Josh McDaniels in the New England Patriots, there's a certain kind of undrafted white slot back that always tends to produce and be absolutely spectacular. And if you look at Efton Chisholm on the New England Patriots out of Eastern Washington, he actually has like a lot of Eastern Washington records. You know who else went to Eastern Washington as a white weird slot
I thought this
player?
was a Lan Larison like build up. Like I was totally misread where you were going.
You didn't think it was Efton Chisholm? Yeah, yeah.
No,
So,
I thought you were going Lan Larison. I thought you were like going like again, like
yeah.
I missed that totally.
My player comp is like somewhere between Cooper Kupp and Julian Edelman, not because of the color, but he was incredibly productive. And this is obviously not an immediate thing, but if you look at archetype, scheme fit, he's going to find a way in the roster in the next 2 to 3 years. So he's definitely my favorite last stash play in fantasy. And this is just the homer in me.
Love it. So DBro, you get to kind of finish out the draft, and you get the honor, the privilege, the grandiose deal of picking Mr. Irrelevant for our rookie draft. So everybody that's left that could be a sleeper, could be a potential person, is on the board, and you have the job to prioritize out of all of them who is the most worth it selection at the last pick of the draft.
Man, there's a lot of different ways like I could go with this. I could draft Shedeur Sanders here, but again, like my problem with putting draft capital behind Shedeur, and I'll take a shot on him like the end of like 3rd round, 4th rounds in a lot of different drafts. My problem with Shedeur is if anything happens to that front office and coaching staff after this year, you're talking about a quarterback that doesn't have any draft capital behind his name. So unless he just wows the world, does he keep the job?
Unless they hire Dion.
I mean, so I'm not going to go with Shedeur here. There's a lot of like, I can make a case for tight end premium. I can make a case for Gunnar Helm. I could talk about Kyle Monangai, Oronde Gadsden. I could even go as deep as like Mitchell Evans, Thomas Fedone, but I'm going to go ahead and just take Savion Williams here. I think the 3rd round capital by the Green Bay Packers says a ton. I think the Green Bay Packers, there is a world we're living in possibly where the Green Bay Packers say, yeah, Jayden Reed's been okay, but Jayden Reed has not been what we wanted to be in this offense, and Savion Williams could be their Deebo Samuel in Green Bay. I could see it happening, man.
I was waiting for you to make that pick. I was like, he has not taken Savion yet. I cannot take him because I have Golden. So
yeah. I can't take him because he committed.
Well, you only draft Arkansas or Green Bay. I mean,
no,
Arkansas.
See, my issue is he committed to Arkansas and then he decommitted. Oh,
so you got spurned. So that's why you didn't draft him. Well, good to know.
Okay, so I love it. I appreciate the draft. There it is for you guys. It's there on the screen. We're gonna kind of round this thing out with obviously after the draft. It is a waiver wire spin shenanigans, right? To try to get some of these leftovers. So I mean, we'll just kind of go around the room. We'll start you, Joe, then go Disco, then DBro, and I'll kind of round it out. Or I guess we can go in draft order. We'll go Joe, me, and then Disco and DBro. Who is the guy, like, if you're going to spin fab, right? If you're going to spin fab and you're going to try to grab somebody that could be your Restrepo of the NFL draft, you know, like, who's that going to be? Just give the audience at least one solid player.
Yeah, Derek already mentioned, but Kyle, the fun guy, Monangai, went to the Bears. There's not a lot of running backs up there. I also just love to say that name, so I wouldn't spend too much fab on it, but I would throw a couple dollars at it because fab isn't real money.
Love it. Hold on, I've got to retool now. Go ahead, Disco.
So I don't believe in Hunter Henry as a New England Patriots fan. We brought in this really talented tight end from Alabama as an undrafted free agent, CJ Dipray from Bama. A big fan, great talent. He can block like no tomorrow, and he's very athletic.
Awesome. I'm gonna go here, and this is not necessarily a player thing. I'm gonna say, I mean, if he goes undrafted, I haven't seen a ton of drafts where he goes undrafted, but Ollie Gordon, you know, this Miami offense cannot keep running backs healthy. They can't. Like that has been Mike McDaniel's thing. Like he cannot keep running backs healthy. We saw it in San Francisco. We see it in Miami. And the difference is Ollie Gordon is like the one thing that they haven't had. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of really small, light, scat back, fast players. And I think that I mean, obviously he had good production in college. I think that he's a solid grab here late. Especially in undrafted free agents, I'm going to try to target him just for potential.
I like it. I'm just going to kind of word vomit here and kind of spray the board here. There's a bunch of different guys that I want like after and waivers. We have not talked about, and I'm just going to go with the guys we have not talked about yet. Jordan Watkins, I thought he was the arbitrage playoff of Jalen Knoll. Inside, outside wide receiver, fast, physical. He goes to San Francisco in the 4th round. Juwan Jennings is probably going to leave after this season. He's a free agent, so you could be looking at a guy that could be starting for the 49ers next year. Dante Thornton, really only if I'm in a Dynasty best ball league, that's where I want to go with Thornton. We know what he's going to do, man. He's fast. He's big. He's going to run deep overs, go routes. Like, he is your MBS. He's the guy that's going to lead to spike weeks. If Geno's chucking it deep, it's probably to Dante Thornton Jr. If you're in tight end premium, bro, I mean, I can make you a case for Gunnar Helm being the starting tight end for the Tennessee Titans. Thomas Fedone. Like the Giants have gone after this archetype of big and super athletic year after year after year. Theo Johnson is coming off of a foot injury. Daniel Bellinger never turned out to be anything. Fedone is a guy that, like, Nebraska could not have used him any worse than they possibly did. Massive RAS score guy, like almost a perfect 10. And the last
route runner.
Dude, he's the big. I think there's two reasons why I felt like he went to the 7th round. One, it's the medicals, because you tear both your ACLs in college, not good. Okay. The other part about that is Nebraska wasn't throwing the ball, so he wasn't going to have the analytics and the numbers. But you turn on the film, he jumps off the page.
Yeah.
2 other names for tight end premium people. Mitchell Evans, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, he would have gone higher in the draft. He is the most complete tight end on the Carolina Panthers roster. And I'll also throw in Gavin Bartholomew here. Bartholomew just didn't get utilized well. Like, Pittsburgh basically said, we're going to ask you to chip and run out into the flat every single time or stay in line and block. He has the athletic measurables. If you were to tell me flip over the cards, I think he is the Josh Oliver replacement as the tight end 2 in that roster behind Hawkinson for Minnesota. If you were to flip over the cards and you tell me we are 2 to 3 years down the line and I'm saying stash this guy on a taxi squad, and we look up and Gavin Bartholomew is a solid starting tight end in the NFL. He's like Cade Otton-ish, where he's a top 12 to 15 tight end in a really good offense. I'm not going to be surprised at all, because he's got all of the raw intangibles to be a solid league average starting tight end. And if he scores touchdowns in a good offense, that leads to maybe low TE1 production in a season.
Good stuff. Well, I hope you got the juice. I hope you got some good stuff from this show tonight. I will split this into 2 episodes for the replay. What a crew, man. Disco, DBro, thank you so much for coming on. This is your first time from the forum. Audience, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Again, appreciate you all for tuning in. Getting some love there. Disco Raid, pardon me, didn't see that earlier. Joe, who is the Matt Collins of this group?
You know who it's going to be? Ricky White III, 7th round wide receiver for what other team than the Seattle Seahawks?
Why do you have this information readily?
Because he blocked 4 kicks last year, which is just like insane.
Because he's a Seattle Seahawk. We're keeping the trends alive here.
Yeah, the trend's alive, right? Yeah. James says,
Royo,
great show, gents.
Horton.
Appreciate it.
Love you, James.
Look, you guys, the people tuning the show, you're awesome. Guests, DBro, Disco, awesome. Thanks, everybody. As you know, 9 o'clock every Friday night from the forum. We'll see you next week. Make sure you check out fantasysportsadvice.com and have a good night. We will see you later.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.